Welcome, everybody, to the Seattle Sports Union podcast. My name is Abraham DeWeese. I am your host, and I'm back once again with the SoCal Seahawk, that damn dirty duck, Matt Paige, and a shout out to the Soulman, Brian Solack, who's behind the boards. This week, we discuss the Seahawks draft. Woohoo! Yay, draft. Yes.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks, yes.
Go Hawks.
Seahawks, should I say Seahawks country? Let's ride, or let's fly, or...
No, don't ever say
No,
that.
don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, all right. All right. For today's show, we're just gonna run through the picks, and I want to get the impression from both Matt and from Rob, what you felt as far as the day that it happened in the moment, and then as well, upon reflection. Keep that in mind. Also, I'm just gonna ask you for a basic grade, like a school, like the old A through F grades in school. Let's go ahead and get this started here. First pick was number 5 overall with Devin Witherspoon out of University of Illinois. Guys, forget the player for just a second. What did you think about taking a cornerback at number 5 overall? Typically, he's not done.
Well,
yeah, okay, go Rob.
Sorry, Matt. I was blown away. I definitely I was taken aback, to say the least. I had a moment where I wondered, oh my God, are we really gonna screw this whole day up, or this whole weekend up? When my blood pressure came back down, my heart slowed down. I went back to the good old, listen, let's just assume that John and Pete know what they're doing. There's got to be a good reason for this. But I was very surprised at the pick after seeing the player and seeing what he's able to do. I'm like, okay, well, the guy's good. I was very, very taken aback.
Matt, forget for a second the guy, but what was your impression of taking that position for this team?
I have to echo Rob. I was shocked. It's a position that last year we got some great two starters in the draft, late rounds. We've never drafted that corner position in the first round during the Schneider-Carroll era. So, and I didn't see one mock draft. I was obsessed reading every mock draft going into the draft. I didn't see one person pick Witherspoon to go to the Seahawks. It was pretty shocking. But now, after the shock wore off, I kind of really like the pick, and I haven't changed in that regard.
Stay on that, Matt. Tell me what your grade is on him, and why you like it.
Absolute A grade, A+ pick. Looking back, he was on a lot of people that I trust. He was on their like top 5 blue chipper ranking in the draft. One of the best players in the draft. It's a great fit for our scheme. As good as Tariq Woolen is, he's not the guy you put on the number 1 receiver for the other side. He's not a Richard Sherman. Then you don't have to worry about that side. Witherspoon is that guy and will complement our defense immensely. And I'm just more and more excited because this could be the beginning of the formation of Legion of Boom Part 2. For reals. It's exciting. It's going to be fun to watch.
Rob, a little bit of a smaller cornerback, but graded out. I believe he had 0 touchdowns allowed. He actually had more interceptions in his college career than touchdowns allowed. What do you think now that you had a chance to think this over and reflect on? And what grade would you give it?
Ooh, the grade. It's tough to call. I might give it a B, only because of what I learned about the player since. Apparently he plays with a tenacity that Pete Carroll likens to one Troy Polamalu, which is, I don't think you can go wrong with that. But to your point, yeah, he's not that typical Seattle corner, at least not what that Seattle corner has been for us in the recent years. We've gone for that longer, taller, corner, because we play a lot of that, up close bump on that cover 3. And so, the Sherman style of corner, the Browners, has really been what we looked for. And this guy is not that. Even with our current corners, Woolen's more like that style. Yeah, the guy can play ball, and I'm hoping to see how we plan on using him. Is he gonna be kind of free to roam the field, or is he gonna lock up anybody on an island, or how's that gonna work? I'm very anxious to see.
I myself rank him an A. I do not give it an A plus, because I do worry a little bit. I do get a little concerned about the size. We saw one Marquise Blair of the University of Utah come to this team, play like he's a 6'4", 230 guy. But he was much too small and got himself injured constantly. And he's kind of out of our minds, out of our frame of thought. So I do worry about Witherspoon's size, but how many wide receivers, is he going to shut down? He's going to shut down a lot. Maybe there's that Julio Jones that he can't shut down, but nobody shuts those guys down anyway.
Julio Jones, I could shut down Julio Jones at this point. I don't think he can run anymore, but yeah.
I meant in his prime. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
AJ Brown.
So then you're talking about Debo or Ayuk in
like
San Francisco, or Hopkins for the Cardinals, or Cup.
Yeah, we don't know where DeAndre Hopkins is these days, but he might get traded. He might get traded.
Well, yeah, he might get traded, but yeah, right now he's in the division, and he's a number one guy. You gotta have a really great corner for.
All right, guys. Are you bummed that Florida's quarterback, Anthony Richardson, did not come to the Seahawks?
Okay, I'll jump in here first. Initially, I have to admit I was a little bummed, but thinking it over, the intangibles are there, but the actual body of work isn't there. And it was a high risk, high reward pick. It wasn't necessary. It would have been a luxury pick for us. I like the safer route that we went, increasing a strength that we have on the team. Richardson, he might be a complete bust. He might be out of the league in a year. And next year there are a lot of great quarterbacks, and we could probably get one in the later rounds. Michael Penix from University of Washington comes to mind. I really like him. So I'm not not hurting too much on missing out.
SoCal, what do you think?
I would have liked to see us pick a quarterback, and I would have been happy with that pick. That shouldn't suggest any lack of confidence in Geno Smith or anything like that. But, again, it always comes down to the question of when are we going to have this opportunity again at the quarterback position, and picks this high. I would have liked to see Anthony Richardson in blue and green. I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah, it would have been cool.
Yeah.
It would have been an absolute disaster. It would not have been cool. I do not need on this team. No, I'm serious. I do not need a guy who could complete 60% of his passes, had far too many interceptions, and is a complete unknown as to what he could be. And if he is something, it'll take 2-3 years to get something out of him. This team is ready to compete now. So no and no.
Well, I want to just add one little wrinkle also, is that with the addition of the pick we made later on, and with the increase in rebuilding of our defense, our offense is pretty stacked, and it doesn't necessarily require Geno to carry the team in any regard. So moving forward, we could make a third round pick on a quarterback, and he doesn't have to be the franchise carrying quarterback that we had Russell Wilson back in when he started. We don't have to have that absolute cornerstone of the team at the role. If we have a game manager, we're throwing to amazing receivers. We're handing off to amazing running backs. We got a good O-line. They'll be just fine.
It's a dangerous term, game manager. Dangerous term.
It is, but game managers have won the Super Bowl plenty of times. Eli Manning, plenty of times, most prolific game manager of all time.
Absolutely, yes.
Just get some.
My dad thinks he's a Hall of Famer, by the way.
No. He had a great defense and a great team around him, and did a great job in big games. But it's kind of, if you just look at the guy, he was not his brother.
He owes a win to David Tyree.
There's that too, yeah. They just have some sort of voodoo magic over the Patriots anyway.
Yeah.
All right, before we get to the next pick here, what you guys? Well, I want to get your frame of mind before the number 20 pick overall. What were you guys thinking? Who did you think they were taking, or maybe a position that you thought that was going to be taken?
For sure. It was a no-brainer. It was obvious we were going to go D-line. It was. I mean, I would have bet anything I owned. And then, okay, we didn't like that first pick was weird. Now we'll go ahead and fall into where everybody says we're going to go, or what we all think we're going to do, and then they didn't. I don't know who, but they were going to pick a defensive lineman. I still think they're going to pick a defensive lineman at 20.
Matt, Rob's mind was made up. How about you?
Yeah, no, I thought I was thinking either edge or probably edge rusher, because the top defensive tackle Carter was gone. I was frankly glad we didn't roll the dice on him. I'd rather get high character guys that are with a little less talent personally. There was edge. I think the guy I was thinking we were going to take was Nolan Smith from Georgia. Was it Georgia or Clemson?
Georgia. Yeah.
Georgia, yeah. And obviously I thought, that would be a great pick. It'd be a really solid edge rusher for us. And then my surprise, the one that everyone was mocking, we went slot, which surprised me, definitely.
Yep, we definitely went slot. We went with our 20th pick overall, or the number 20 pick overall, Jackson Smith-Njigba. I'm going to have to learn his last name at some point.
Smith-Njigba, yeah.
I keep getting it wrong. Anyway, from the Ohio State. None of us expected it. Seahawks zigged when everybody else zagged, or the other way around. I forget what it is. I did not expect this pick. I was not happy with this pick. With a little bit of time, I think I'm starting to warm up to him. What do you guys think?
At this point, I was at a loss. I think I might have.
Were you about to go buy a Cardinals jersey and say, screw this?
Well, I don't know if I was going to go that far. But I don't know if it was after this pick or was it later? Was it later in the draft? I don't remember if it was it Friday or maybe it was Friday. But I did text in our group chat that I was like, are we screwing this whole thing up? Like, I mean, I see what's going on here, but this is not at all what I thought, nor any of the so-called experts thought. This is strange. But there again, I think to your point, Abe, you start looking at the player and you think, okay, well, we need a third receiver. We have a question mark at the 3 spot on the roster right now in D. Eskridge. So enter Jackson Smith-Njigba. Maybe he's gonna be, at the very least compete for the role, or be just another another player in that committee. I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, at this point, again, I was flabbergasted.
I think Rob was worried that his sweeping declaration that D. Eskridge was going to get 750 yards was hurting after
then
that.
There's that part too, like totally screwing me up, right? so unless it's gonna motivate D to play very well, this is what happened. Yeah.
So Matt, are you just happy to get this wide receiver just to annoy Rob?
That's part of it. Yes, I have to admit. Yes,
just to win a bet.
Just to win a bet. When they made the pick initially, I'd seen enough mocks that it could go that way, and it makes a lot of sense. It really does. He's not the guy I would have picked. We started a run. There was 4 consecutive wide receivers taken. We were the first one taken there. I definitely would have taken Zay Flowers from Boston College instead of him. But I don't hate the pick. It fills a need. We absolutely did not have a third. Marquise Goodwin was just always so banged up. When he showed up, it was great, but he was always so banged up. Eskridge was never there. We really did not have a third wide receiver last year, and that was the biggest hole in our offense. And this addresses that need going forward. He is tailor-made for the slot, and he'll be pretty dynamic for us. So overall, I'd give the pick a B.
Oh yeah, sorry. What was your grade, Rob?
Yeah, I would even go at the when I saw it, I was thinking it's a C, maybe a C plus. I would upgrade that to a B after I had my moment of clarity.
I think it's unanimous. All of us graded a B. There was same thing with me, Matt. There was a different receiver I wanted, but with clarity in mind, it absolutely is a position of need, and we got a guy who can fill the slot. I mean, that's Tyler Lockett's spot, but I'm sure they can come up with things. I mean, it's a passing league nowadays.
Well, we're going to need to replace Lockett in a year or two anyway, because
Exactly.
he's getting up there in age, unfortunately. So,
yep. All right, guys, let's move on to round 2. Friday, both of you guys messaged me that you were not that high on Derek Hall out of Auburn, number 37 pick overall. He was taken. I thought he was a decent pick. Neither of you were that happy with it. What do you guys think? Have you changed your mind?
I'll go first, I guess. I'm still kind of meh on him,
Okay.
to be honest. He's not the guy I would have chosen. I would have gone with BJ Olajari, yeah, from LSU. I liked him as a better fit, but there's a couple other guys we probably could have taken, and I think my main complaint with the pick was edge rusher wasn't necessarily our highest priority. We're still really. I don't know why they're neglecting the interior of the defensive line for so late in the draft. I think at that point, I probably would have gone interior. I would not have gone edge yet. But overall, he's a decent edge rusher. There's a lot to build on there, and I think he's going to be a good player for us. He's just not the one I would have picked. So. Give him I'll stay with a B.
Oh yeah, sorry, great, yeah. B. Okay, Rob.
Yeah, it might be B's across the board. Again, it was another sure bet that we would have gone to the D line here after the first 2 picks. But at least we grab somebody on the front 7. The guy's got range. I think he's like 6'3", 250 something. He's gotten better from his junior to senior year, so he shows that he's on an upward trajectory. So if that continues, this guy could actually grow to be great in our defensive backfield. His junior year he was second team all conference, and his senior year he was first team all conference. So I think there's good things to come from him. Again, the ones I had to get over the shock of the pick not being what I expected it to be, but I'm okay with the pick.
Right on, great. Oh, you gave it a B. I forgot.
Oh, yeah, I gave it a B. Sorry,
you gave it a B. That's right. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm in the same. I like the pick based off a position. Looked at the guy, watched some YouTube highlights. I like it even better. I'm giving it a B plus. It's exactly what we needed. I'm off the Darrell Taylor bandwagon.
Oh yeah.
I was on the front of that bus for a while, and when that guy comes in, and tries to pick up a fumble while he was not even in the play, he was on the sidelines. I'm like, please get rid of this guy. Nuwasu needs a backup. That's this guy. He can cover out of the backfield, which was a weakness of ours in the last couple of years, is getting those edge guys to pick up the running backs out of the backfield, because we do zone blitzes every once in a while. I think he can do that. Do I think he's a superstar? Not in the least. And I would have loved a superstar either at the DT or the D end. But anyway, let's move on. The next pick. Everybody was.
Well, wait. Before you move on, the star at defensive end or defensive tackle, you're forgetting a free agent signing that we made.
Jaron Reed.
No, Draymond Jones.
Yeah, no, I do get that.
We have one. I mean,
I do get that,
good.
but when the Seahawks run what they call their NASCAR package,
yeah,
they cycle through DS.
Well, I know. I'm just saying
I'm done with Darrell Taylor. I'm done with Darrell Taylor. I do not want him.
Okay, well, I'm done with Brian Monet and Jaron Reed. And who else is there in the middle?
Well, you don't have to worry about Poona Ford. He just got released.
Poona Ford's gone. Yeah, good.
None
of those players grade out as a starting a player in the NFL right now.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I just you can never have too many edge rushers, is what I'm saying. But I mean, that's not what we should be arguing about, Matt. We should be we should be livid about this Knicks pick. Number 52. I sent you both text message. What the hell is what I wrote when Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA, the running back, got picked. I think this is unforgivable. What do you guys think? Rob, start with you.
So this is really, it was a weird pick for me. A very weird pick for reasons that some may appreciate and some may not. First of all,
is he your cousin or something? Why is this a weird pick?
If he was my cousin, if I had world class athletic ability in the blood like that, I'd be doing something with it for sure. But no, so he was again first team all conference. He rushed for almost just under 7 yards a carry in Pac-12, which is decent. But so I mean the guy can run the football. What's weird about it is that I play Madden. I'm a Madden player, right? And actually in my Madden franchise, I usually simulate the draft and let the computer. I don't feel like going through all those rounds and doing all that waiting around. And I simulate the draft, and I ended up with Zach Charbonnet on my roster as the Seahawks. So I was like, dude, the game knows this is this is a meant to be thing, and he's awesome in the game. So
when did the computer give you the grade?
The computer I think gave a grade. I think it might have been like a high C, maybe a low B.
No, I mean what round? Sorry.
When did you do the?
When did you pick him? I think it was a first round pick.
When did you do the draft?
Oh, this must have been it was some time ago, but in the game's timeline, it was this year.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I've had the game since last August. So
first round pick. How bad was your team that you ended up taking him in the first round?
He was there. He didn't go so he didn't go so high.
Oh, okay.
He didn't go so high.
What grade do you give
fantasy
it?
Draft?
Because it's kismet and it was meant to be. What grade do you give it?
Well, hopefully he's good in real life as he is in the video game. If he can compliment Ken Walker. I think that one is a high C. I don't know about the pick. I'm trying to be nice, but I'm a little.
Matt,
I'm torn on that one. I got to get that one a C+.
Matt, before we go to you, Soulman just messaged me. Puna went to Buffalo. Al Woods is a Jet, so they're definitely not on the team anymore.
That's
Matt,
right.
What'd you think about Zach Charbonnet?
I have to talk about the pick versus the player.
Okay.
The pick, I give an F. The player, I absolutely love. The player is an A. I absolutely love this running back. I love him. He's been fun to watch. He's been the only watchable part of Chip Kelly's offense for the past couple of years at UCLA, although I'm sure UCLA fans would object to me saying that. But anyway, he's a great addition. He is the power to the finesse, to the half of the equation to the finesse of Walker, and it's going to be a dynamic duo. It's going to be amazing. I really like having him. However, this was a reach. This was a reach by 2 rounds, and I can name at least 2 other running backs that I would have loved to have had that I could have gotten 2 or 3 rounds later. And we have other extremely pressing needs like defensive tackle, which we didn't pick in the first part of the round, or a tight end. Yeah, we could have gone anywhere.
I don't disagree with you. That was an F for the.
I don't know if it's unforgivable. I think that's a hard word.
It's unforgivable for a backup running back. Ken Walker's the number one. Charbonnet, I liked him at Michigan. I liked him at UCLA, but he's not Ken Walker.
It's gonna be a 1A, 1B.
It's a backup running back. No, it's a backup. He's a backup. He's going to get 5 attempts per game.
He's going to get more than that.
No, he won't, because there's a better. Well, not better. There was a very good pick. We're coming up to number 7, 7th round.
We'll get there.
That was a very good pick, and this was an F for me. Anyway, let's move on. because now you guys got me upset about this draft. Here I was having a great day. It was sunny. You too. I can't believe you too sometimes. All right. 4th round, offensive guard out of LSU, Anthony Bradford. What do you guys think about taking this guard particularly? And is this the end of Phil Haynes or Damian Lewis? Let's start with Matt.
I think it was a reach. I think we could have gotten him later. And if we really wanted interior guard or a center earlier in the draft, there were some better players we could have gotten. He's a strong, aggressive guard. He's not a great pass blocker, but he'll be good for us on the run attempts. I'm not sure about his long-term prospects. I don't think he's a replacement for Haynes because Haynes can roll out to tackle if need be. And in a pinch, I think he's been center.
How would you agree?
But I don't think it's still replacing Lewis because Lewis is amazing at left guard. I give it a C-. How
about you, Rob?
I give it a B-, maybe a C+. Actually, I don't mind the pick. What I see in a pick like this is that, and also on the defensive side, what I'm seeing is that Seattle is going, maybe not against the grain, but going to kind of off script, if you will, with some of their picks, and not so much maybe looking for the one home run hitter player at any given position, but bringing players in who are good and who can go work on rotation. I think they're bringing in guys who are good enough that when they come in, they can come in after getting their blow for however long. They stay on the sideline for so many plays. They come in, they're fresh. We're gonna have a fresh player at every position as often as possible. Right. And Bradford will come in here. He's versatile. He can play guard or tackle. I think that's really what it is. Same on the defensive side, as we'll see with picks down the line. So with that in mind, I'm trying to allow myself to be okay with it. And if I allow for it, I actually don't mind the pick.
I'm right with you guys. C+ for me. I don't see him as going to. I definitely don't see him taking over Damian Lewis's job unless they're just going to decide when Lewis's contract is up in a couple of years that they're just trying to stock for there. And then Phil Haynes, I don't even know why they brought him back. I think
his versatility. They like his versatility.
That's exactly what it is. Because
this is a depth pick, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Lewis has started 45 games over the past 3 years. He's not going anywhere. I mean, he's gonna have to lose his job to
exactly.
His job. You know what
but
I mean?
His contract does come up in 2 years, and maybe if he's getting major money, we're trying to start backfill for that.
Are there a lot of really expensive guards in the NFL? Because guard is one of those positions that never gets paid.
Typically not, but we were dumb enough to pay Gabe Jackson $9 million a year, so maybe some other team's dumb enough to overpay. So
I had forgotten that. Thank you for reminding me.
No problem. You're welcome. And thanks, Soulman out there Soulman actually reminded me about Gabe Jackson, so I want to give him the credit on that one. Here's the pick that we were waiting for, a defensive tackle finally in Cameron Young out of Mississippi State. I kind of like this pick. I had to read up on him though. I didn't know who he was. Had to read up, had to watch some highlights. I thought this one graded out to, definitely a B for me. Let me start with Rob. What'd you think about one, picking a DT this late, and then two, the particular player?
Well, to start, it was my first thought was it's about damn time. Are we going to get somebody on the D line at all in this draft? I'm with you, Abe. I had to, I didn't really know much about him. However, the one thing that I did learn of that is that as a defensive tackle, he ran a 5'1" 40. That's pretty good.
That's good.
So he's gonna be able to
big
chase.
Man. Yeah,
for a big dude, he's gonna be able to chase down. He can chase down anybody in the backfield. I mean, really, it doesn't matter what quarterback. If you're back there, Lamar Jackson looking to pass, if you got a guy who can run a 5'1", at that position, he can get an angle on you and catch you. You know what I mean? Just imagine that you're Lamar Jackson or Mahomes or whoever. This guy can catch you in that backfield. So that's huge. Now, can the guy play how many snaps a game he can play and all that good stuff? That remains to be seen. But he grades for me again a high C.
Matt, what do you think?
I'm really high on him. I'm going to say B plus, maybe A minus. I really like this kid. I don't know why he fell this far, to be honest. Personally, I liked him. I watched tape of him before the draft. I read up on him a little bit because I was I was thinking, okay, we need tackles. Let's look at what we got out there. I like him, and I'm surprised we got him that late. I think it's a very solid pick. If nothing else, he's got to be better than Monet and Ford. I mean, those guys. I mean, not Ford, Reed. Those guys at this point are just. I don't know why they're wearing the uniforms. I'm sorry. I like him. The tape I've watched, he is a massive load. He will come up and he moves. I'm excited to see him and see some energy put into that nose tackle position.
Right on. The next guy that we get drafted 5th round, 151st overall, Mike Morris. This guy, he's from Michigan, and I saw him a couple times. I really appreciated him. I want to get you guys' feedback. Matt, what did you think of the D end out of Michigan?
I wasn't optimistic about this pick until I heard that they're considering moving him to tackle. He isn't fast enough to be an edge rusher, but he could be a force in the middle of the line.
He would fill that what we wanted LJ Collier to be.
Yeah. I could definitely see him in that role, and I'll give it a knowing that now. I'd give the grade a solid B.
How about you, Rob?
7.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss last year. I think the guy plays with a high motor. In the few clips I was able to see of him, I'm okay with that pick. I give that pick a solid B. He breaks up passes at the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure what technique he's going to play, in our defense. But I heard some grumbling that maybe we might be switching away from that 3-4 we tried to go with as of last year. I don't know how much truth there was to that, but
I'd be okay with that.
You're right.
It's not confirmed. I haven't heard anyone with the team say it yet. But
right. It might have just been hearsay, but yeah, no. I think the guy plays with a high motor, and I liked watching again the bit of tape that I've seen from him. So I give it a B.
I think I'm right with you guys. It's a B minus. I like. No, let me take away the B minus. It's a B because we picked him in the 5th round.
Yeah, it's 5th round.
And that's a great place for him. All right, Matt had been bugging us all Thursday, all decade to get a center, and we get one from the University of Michigan. His name is Olu Oluwatimi. I understand he's not one of the top 3 centers, but he is a center. And as I looked at him, and as I think about the team that he was on, Michigan, solid ground games. Additionally, he, I believe, was a Remington winner a couple of years ago, multiple time transfer. I'm not sure what's going on there, but Matt, you get to now talk about centers. What do you think of Olu Oluwatimi?
4-year starter, was the anchor and the captain of that line that won the best line. I forget the name of the award that you just mentioned. The Remington Award. They one of the best offensive lines in the game and in college. High football IQ. Everyone loves his acuity, and ability to call and run protections for the quarterback, which will help Geno immensely. It's a presence we haven't. I mean, he right away is about twice the player of any person we put at center in the last decade. He's physically limited though. He would not have been my pick at center, but I do think getting Pete and John Schneider to actually finally think about the position is a win. So I'm very happy to have him on the roster, and I think he's going to help out that in ways you don't even know that aren't even really quantifiable. He's going to help out that run game and help out Geno with protection. So I give he was what, a late 5th round pick?
5th round, yeah, late
5th round pick. I will give that an A-.
Right on, right on. So where were you guys right about here? Because the next couple picks we'll talk about, but just where was your mind frame? Let's just say midday Saturday.
What was my mind frame?
Yeah, like where were you at so far? Like, oh, this was a disaster, or hey, we got some pieces here, stuff. Just so far we've been grading this kind of like a B plus over B, somewhere in there overall. Was that the same mind frame you guys had on Saturday?
Yeah, I was starting to come around. And actually it was after this just previous pick we just mentioned. If I can just give a quick rundown
on the center.
Since you didn't ask me my opinion about the guy.
Sorry, Matt's been talking about this for the entire time I've known him, like for the last decade, and I just wanted to make sure he got his little soapbox and shouted it. No, but definitely talk about the center, but also give me where you were at after.
Fair enough, and I forgive you, Abe. I was starting to. I came around at about this point. And I like to see players that show that they are progressing. Like with the previous pick, Olowatimi, yeah, whatever. It's a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one. We'll get into it. He was a second team all conference 2 years ago, and he won. On the nation's best offensive line, he was the nation's best offensive lineman. I mean, I think he was a steal at that pick. I definitely give the pick an A. And so because of that grade, I'm thinking, okay, maybe John and Pete are seeing some stuff here, and the other guys in that war room are seeing something that maybe others aren't seeing, certainly that I'm not seeing. And when you look at how good this center was on the team that he was good on, I think, okay, all right, we might have something going on here. Maybe they say that we finessed the league. We finessed Denver with the Russell Wilson trade. Maybe we're finessing the league with this draft as well. So I was coming around at this point.
Then where did you feel like we were at? Like you said you were feeling a little bit better about it?
I was biting my fingernails until the last 2 picks, and then I'm like, okay, so I'd say we're in a good spot. I don't know if I wouldn't say we had the best draft out of all the teams, but I'd say we probably had a top 10 draft.
Excellent. Matt?
I think at this point on Saturday, I was starting to turn the corner, but I before the Olatimi, we're gonna learn this name.
It's Olowatimi.
We will learn this name.
We'll learn it at some point.
Okay.
Or maybe he has a nickname we can figure out and just call
Olu. I don't know.
Olu or Double O.
Olu is his first name. We'll just call him by his first name.
Let's just call him Olu or Double O or something like that.
Okay. Anyway, up until the pick for Olu, I was starting to really kind of think we might have been blowing it. The first round was great, but we were waiting too long to address real needs. I wasn't thrilled with the guard pick, and I was starting to wonder if maybe we started off with a good plan and we were going to take the best available like we did last year, and then we were switching over to the old Pete Carroll and John Schneider trying to be too smart for themselves picks, and I kind of was seeing the danger signs going off. But then they finally addressed center, and I sat back and thought about it and started to feel a little better. And then there's a 7th round pick we made that made me just absolutely excited.
Yeah, I wasn't on Saturday. I wasn't too hip about this draft, and I kind of got into the mode of like, all we're gonna get are a bunch of chumps. And then I had to like think about this. Where are Pete and John the best at? They're best at 3rd, 4th, and 5th round picks, right? I mean, historically, that's their zone. They know how to find these guys. So I'm going to have to, whereas the Charbonnet was just a throwaway pick, where Anthony Bradford, I don't know what that guy is, I'm super excited about I'm super excited about Mike Morris and Ola Watimi, because of the history that John and Pete have at that round specifically. You know, who are some like Tariq Woolen was a 5th round pick, right? Yeah, I mean,
I think it was the 4th round.
Was the 4th round pick? Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
it's right in that zone, and I think they did a good job there, and I feel a lot better now than I did Saturday. You know, Saturday I probably would have given this a C overall as far as a draft, but you know, I'm in the B's, man. I'm starting to believe. I still am not happy that they just, you know, made a couple picks, but for the most part, these really jibe with me. All right, guys, let's get to that 6th round where we get some safety depth. Is there room for New Mexico's safety Jarek Reed on this team? Let's start with Matt.
I think there is, but more likely as a special teams player, to be honest. I kind of view this as kind of a fringe pick. I'm not as high on this guy. But I will say, you know, the guy that I would trust the most at developing a secondary player, any secondary player, would be Pete Carroll. So he saw something he liked in him. I'm gonna have to trust Pete because he has a remarkable record of taking these guys late and turning them into something. So you know, I don't see it, but I'll give him a C.
What do you think, Rob?
Well, my first thoughts are that he's kind of small, even as a a free safety. I think he's like 5'9", 200 pounds ish. Not unlike a safety we used to have some time ago named Earl Thomas, though, who has great range like Earl Thomas did. I think he's going to compete at safety / like nickel position.
Yeah.
The guy can tackle. I think he could actually compete. It's, you know, and plus we have to always remember that the safety spot, we have one big question mark only because we have a guy that just can't make it through a season. He's yet to make it through a full season with us. You know, and people get banged up, you know, so I think he has actually a pretty good chance. One interesting fact is that he's from the same town that KJ Wright is from, Olive Branch, Mississippi, I believe. So hopefully in the biblical or there's a Greek term, you know, hopefully we'll get extend us an olive branch, you know, an offer of peace. So maybe he'll be there on our roster and do some good things for us.
That would be nice. Yes, I like what you just said about maybe a nickel position, because Kobe Bryant could use a little bit of, you know, competition. Sure. And yeah, you're right. Injuries happen. Jamal Adams it's not if he gets injured, he's going to get injured at some point. And we have Julian Love at backup, but you still need backups for your backups. And right. You never know when.
And don't forget, Trey Brown has yet to show us he can play a full season either.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because I thought Trey Brown out of Oklahoma, I think it was.
Yeah.
He showed a lot of promise, but obviously, if we're taking Devin Witherspoon and if we're, you know, picking up additional DBs, his long-term future may not be on this team. Anyway, I'm going to give that safety pick a C+.
Yeah.
I do fear the size. But you bring up a good point about Earl Thomas. Some people can overcome it. I don't know if 6th round picks can overcome it.
And remember this in like a year that Rob has said that he's totally the same as Earl Thomas. Absolutely.
Is that what I said? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Let's get to the 7th round. I love this pick. It's Georgia running back Kenny McIntosh. Originally, I had forgotten who he was, and so
I had to turn you around on it.
Yes, I had to. I had to remember the games that he was in, and I think he's going to challenge DJ Dallas as a 3rd down back. And I think this is why I thought the Zach Charbonnet didn't make sense at the 2nd round pick, because you can find good running backs later. You know, we got Chris Carson in the 6th from Oklahoma State. You know, the Philip Lindsay was undrafted, and Matt, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Oh, that is a fact. Okay, good.
Yeah, but where is he now? Where is he now, though?
He was
the
a Seattle Sea Dragons.
I know, and that's
Well,
my
the season is now over, unfortunately.
But anyway, Rob, what'd you make of the Kenny McIntosh pick?
It took me a second to figure out who he was, only because the national championship is a little bit removed from my head, and then I was like, oh, this guy. And so I still wasn't super high on the pick just because I'm like, another running back. Like, we're apparently going to put some serious. The preseason is going to be huge at the running back position in our locker room. And I do like he's good. I think he ran for 800 something yards last year.
Had an additional 500 receiving. Yeah.
In addition, yeah, right. Then he had double-digit touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, the guy can play football. I have to agree. I think he might compete for that second back position. So again, I was low at first, and then I realized, okay, you know what? Again, running back by committee. All our positions are seeming to be by committee. So, I'll give this a B for the pick.
Excellent, Matt. How about you?
I give it an A with 3 pluses. This is my absolute favorite pick of the draft.
Wow.
He will absolutely displace Dallas. He is our third down back going forward. He is a better version of Travis Homer, who I did not want to see leave. He's our third down back. He will be our third down back. He caught 70 passes in his college career. He dropped 0.
Nice.
He never dropped a pass.
Attaboy.
They threw 70 times to him. He caught 70 times.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Why does this player get picked at 237?
Because people are morons and the running back position is not valued because his role in the NFL will be limited. It's a third down back. He's not an every down back. He's not, going to carry, he's not going to workhorse. He's not Roshan Johnson. He's not Bijan Johnson. Roshan, what's his name? Roshan Johnson.
He's no Rashad Penny, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so he's not going to carry the guys. He's got a very set, he's a role player. He's going to be your third down back. And running backs in this passing league are not as valued. But this guy at the 7th round, he had like a 4th round grade on some of the scouting I read. Getting him in the 7th round is a coup. It's an absolute steal. And I'm really excited to see him in the Seahawks uniform.
Matt, you took most of my thunder on the evaluation. Yeah, it's definitely because people don't draft running backs high anymore. Just unless they're exceptional, like Bijan Robinson or I had forgotten about him in Georgia because having SEC ram down my throat. I can't stand it sometimes.
Yeah.
But when I do watch games with Georgia, the emphasis was on the defense because you just take a look at the draft picks. That defense is historically great, and there was less emphasis on the skill players because they shut people down, and they also had a huge rotation at all positions, receiver and running back. And once you're like, hey, take another look at this guy. I took a look at his stats, took a look at his tape on YouTube, and the guy's got it. But yes, absolutely, he is just a third down back in the NFL.
We got him with the 237th pick, which is amazingly bargain.
Yeah, and that's I think I agree with you. That's where we got that's where we got Travis Homer. We might have got DJ Dallas in the 7th as well. And this is your upgrade from those guys. And I give this one an A- myself because we got to keep one thing in mind, guys. Seahawks running backs get injured. Pete Carroll kind of runs them hard, doesn't he?
It's partly because they don't have an offensive line, but guess what? We kind of do now.
Yeah,
we kind of do.
All
right.
Hang on, Rob. You get the last word on this one.
Okay, go ahead.
What was that? That's me.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say something.
Oh no. I was just
Okay.
I was just flying on the wall for that one.
I did want to mention the undrafted free agents. There's a whole list of them up there.
You
But
said there are two that
there are
you wanna
two
call
that
out?
stuck out to me that I wanted to mention. We might be talking about them a lot as training camp comes up. One of them is defensive tackle Robert Cooper out of Florida State. This guy is a load. He is just juggernaut, huge guy. He got hurt and he played through the injury in his senior year, and he didn't get drafted because probably some medical issues. But he looks amazing. And the other guy I like is Jake Bobo from UCLA. This guy is he's 6'4", 206. He plays like a tight end, but he lines up at wide receiver. We might have him bulk up to convert him to a tight end, pass catching tight end for us. He finds the holes, and he just makes catches in traffic. Like, I mean, always there's like three guys on him immediately, and but he holds on the ball always, time and time again.
Right.
I like him.
Excellent. Okay, we gotta end the show here. We're running out of time. We got to do this quickly. Quick shout outs. Rob, quick shout out.
You know, I'm gonna give my quick shout out to Seattle sports in general. We got the Seahawks playoffs. We got the Seattle Sea Dragons playoffs. We got the Kraken playoffs. Like, you know, it's still a great time in Seattle sports. So yeah, that's my shout out. Seattle sports.
Matt.
I want to give a shout out to two Aqua Sox players that we cover out here at Seattle Sports Union. One was Bryce Miller, who made his first MLB start for the Mariners yesterday in front of only 2,500 fans at the Oakland Coliseum. But he went 6 innings and got 10 Ks, took a perfect game into the 6th inning. And then also Jonathan Classe was just promoted. Brian and I were hoping to interview him tomorrow, but apparently he's going to be a Double-A Arkansas instead. So congratulations to both of those guys.
Great. And my shout outs to my dad, who's recovering. Shout out to you, Dad. And I want to thank everybody for joining us yet again at the Seattle Sports Union. Keep in touch with us on social media and Facebook and Twitter at Seattle Sports U. As well, check out our newly redesigned website by Matt Paige at www.seattlesportsunion.com. As well, keep listening to our podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Captivate, and now on North Beach Community TV, Channel 68. Check that out every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And on behalf of my co-host, Rob, the SoCal Seahawk English, Matt, that damn dirty duck Page, and our director back there somewhere in the ether is Brian the Soulman Solack. My name is Abraham DeWeese. We'll see you guys next time.